All right, if you're just tuning in to us, tornado warning. We've been talking throughout the entire evening about how there likely would be tornado warnings that started popping up. We made it till about, what was it, 11 o'clock, Kyle, and we saw one pop up earlier down towards Venice and Sarasota that then drifted off to the east. Now here we are, just past midnight, 12:18, and we have another tornado warning that's popped up, and that's how this night is going to go. Some will produce circulation, some won't. That's why we said we'd be watching every single individual storm. So there is a tornado warning on this cell currently right near the northern tip of Tampa Bay, right near Oldsmar. So this is going to go in a northeasterly fashion. We're talking about East Lake Woodlands, and then the Eagles, and then up towards Odessa. Okay, so that kind of puts into perspective where we are watching. The rotation would be right in here, right on the north side of Oldsmar, and again in the East Lake Woodlands area. Let me see if this will, nope, hold on one second. Let me get that moving again for me. Thank you, Kyle. And that way we can make sure we zoom in for you. What we're looking at here is a storm that, again, is possibly producing a tornado. It would be located on the north side of Oldsmar. There we go. Now I can zoom into this area a little bit tighter so that we can get you a better idea of where that rotation would be. The rotation would be right here. So remember when I was just saying East Lake Woodlands area? Yeah, it's going to be right in there. So if you've ever gone across the northern part of Tampa Bay, you basically go right across into Oldsmar and then come right down Racetrack Road, which is located right in here, and Tampa Road, which is located right here. So this is going to be very, very close to Racetrack Road, right on the western side of it, and this storm is going to move in a northeasterly fashion. So when I said Eagles, yes, that area it is coming up on your area very soon and pretty quickly, actually. Let me move this down just a little bit. It has already moved past Oldsmar. So the tornado warning that is currently in effect, officially through 12:45, not sure if it'll last that long or not. These move pretty quick. Sometimes they bounce back up. But it is in effect till 12:45, technically includes the northeastern corner of Pinellas County, the northwestern corner of Hillsborough County, and into Pasco County. So it has already passed you in Oldsmar. Even though you are in the tornado warning, it's already passed you. Okay? It is now in the East Lake Woodlands area. Let me show you some of the features that we are looking at as to determine why we might be seeing some rotation with this storm. Okay? Let's first start with this. Okay, this product is a velocity product, and what this does is it gives us an inbound and outbound rotation with an idea of where the winds are currently blowing. And there they are right there, side by side. So you have some winds rotating towards the radar and some winds rotating away. So as a meteorologist, I look at this and I see that right in here is where your winds are rotating right beside each other. So your rotation is going to be right there in the East Lake Woodlands area. And again, it's not moving due north, it's moving northeastward. So it's likely going to go just east of the Brooker Creek Preserve, and it's going to head into Hillsborough County, likely right around the Eagles area. That is a heavily populated area. So hopefully everybody paid attention when we were going into tonight and left your phones on. If you're getting alerts, weather radio, whatever it is, and you're tuning in because we do have a tornado warning, and it is possible that this is reaching the ground. So that is something that you need to be aware of. Heavily populated area, Waterchase, Eagles, right along Racetrack Road, all these neighborhoods, you are under a tornado warning. Okay, let me go over to our shear product. Well, let me first take this off. And let me go over here. Okay, there you can see the shear showing up, okay? I was talking about this earlier, so if you missed our earlier broadcast, it was probably about an hour and a half ago. We were talking about a tornado that was down east of Sarasota, or tornado warning. Never got any confirmation that it reached the ground, and this one might not reach the ground either, but there is rotation up in the clouds, and this product that we have here is a very good indication of where there is rotation, okay? Let me go back to this. Okay, this is actually a really good indication. There you go. It has a history of producing that shear. There it is right there. And again, notice how it's pointed right at the Eagles. Okay, so that gives you a really good indication of whether or not there is rotation and where it's headed. And right now it appears, and I apologize in advance, I'm going to go through a lot of things while I'm on the air because this is how we kind of determine what everything is looking like. So really what you just need to know is the rotation is right here on the border of Hillsborough and Pinellas County. And it's moving at a pretty good clip right now. It's moving at about 20 miles per hour. Kyle, can you get a definite on that? I think it says it in that note right there. I think it's northeast 20, but just confirm for me to make sure. It might have even picked up speed. It might be 25 now.
Yeah, northeast at 30.
Northeast at 30. Okay, it has picked up speed. So yeah, earlier storms were moving about 20. This one's moving more like 30. I noticed that it did seem faster than the earlier storms we were watching. This one's kind of moving along at a fast pace. So now, again, it's already moved past East Lake Woodland. So if you joined us just a few minutes ago and you heard me talking about a tornado warning in effect for Oldsmar, it's now past you. So you are not included in this anymore. It has already passed you. East Lake Woodlands, it is past you, but it is now officially in the East Lake Eagles Brooker Creek Preserve area. Okay, the rotation would be right in here, right there. And to give you perspective, this is the Hillsborough Pinellas County line. There it is right there. Okay, so I know there are tons and tons of neighborhoods right here between Keystone and Eagles, and I know there are a lot of neighborhoods right up here in northern parts of Pinellas County and right along McMullen Booth Road also. So we're looking at a rotation that is right in between two very heavily populated areas. So that is one of the reasons why I want to stay on this, and we're not going to go away from this until we are confirming that it is lifting up, okay, because it definitely looks like there's some rotation in that area. So here you go. We got a good path on it. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. Keystone, Fox Hollow, Lake Fern, Odessa, Moon Lake Estates. Now, if it can hold together, Moon Lake Estates is probably a good 20-25 minutes away. So it's going to be downstream. In the short term, it's going to be all the neighborhoods that we just talked about. So the Eagles is located right in here. Keystone is located right in here. These are very heavily populated areas. So hopefully everybody left their phones on. This is one of those active nights, and we always say going into the active nights, and we might have a few of these, and since it's an El Nino winter, this winter we might have a few of these nights where we do have severe weather. It's more prone in the middle of the night in El Nino winters, and this is the type of thing where you want to have your phone on at night so that it will alert you, and then you'll know to tune in to us here on Spectrum Bay News 9. So again, this is live Klystron 9 detecting a storm that, although the actual storm is sprawled out, notice from northeast to southwest, what we have been noticing with all storms tonight is that the rotation is right here on this southern side. Okay, it's right there. So it would be between the Brooker Creek Preserve, Eagles, and Keystone right now, and it is headed in a northeasterly fashion. Okay, it is moving like that. That's how it's moving. These storms are not moving due north tonight. They have what we would call a little bit of a right bias to them. They're basically right turners. Now, they're not turning really far to the right, but they are definitely not moving due north. They're moving more northeastward. And that's one of the reasons, the main reason actually, why you will notice that if we zoom out, you will see the tornado warning box was even drawn in a northeasterly fashion. See how it wasn't drawn due north, it was drawn northeasterly. Okay, so it's not headed due north right up the line towards Trinity. Instead, it's going just to the northeast, more like towards the Odessa area. See, and it's moving pretty fast. So here's Trinity off here to the west, northwest. It's going to miss you. It's headed past Keystone and between Fox Hollow and Odessa. This is the area that's headed towards, okay? Now let me go back here, now that it's been a little bit of time, And let's see. Okay, I like the signs. I don't know about you, Kyle, if you're watching in the background, but I'm noticing that this rotation is not as tight.
Definitely weakening, and also
Weakening.
yeah. Diana went over her house and she said she didn't notice much wind.
Okay, that's a good sign. All right, we have a storm spotter in the area just south of here. Went over their house and didn't notice too bad of winds. That's good. Now, that doesn't guarantee that it didn't touch down afterwards, but that is a good sign. So hopefully this is a loft, and that is a very distinct possibility. We have noticed that with multiple storms, okay? We've noticed that with multiple storms tonight where, yes, they have been showing rotation, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the storm itself is reaching that rotation all the way to the ground. Does that make sense? In other words, radar looks up into the clouds and it can see rotation. But since it's the middle of the night, obviously we don't have a storm spotter that can see visually on the ground. So a lot of times this rotation that we are tracking might be 1,000 feet high in the sky. So it might be a rotating cell. If you were watching me earlier this evening, actually, I was showing pictures of that exact thing. I was showing what a wall cloud looked like, and Tim Cato had sent a picture in from Bushnell of what it looked like, and you could see the storm was rotating, but there was no tornado that came down from the bottom. Well, that is a possibility. There is rotation, and so what you do in these situations is you have to issue a tornado warning. We don't have a choice, because again, it's the middle of the night, so we don't have storm spotters out here that can see anything. It's very, very hard to detect these in the middle of the night, so the best we can do is use our technology, Klystron 9, look inside the storm, and then look for where that rotation would be. And as of right now, that rotation is going to be right here in this area. I will circle it for you. It would be right there, right on what, as a meteorologist would say, kind of a triple point, right on the Pasco, Pinellas, Hillsborough County triple border right there, okay? It's basically between east of Brooker Creek Preserve, right near Keystone, just southeast of Fox Hollow, and southwest of Odessa. It is headed in a northeasterly fashion like that, okay? So it is headed right into Pasco County as we speak. It started near Oldsmar. There's no threat to your area any longer. Past East Lake Woodlands, no threat to your area any longer. Past Eagles, no threat to your area any longer, as it is now past you already. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going down the line and telling everyone who does not need to worry about this anymore. It has already passed you in all these areas to the south, okay? It is now to the north, Keystone, and up towards Pasco County. And what I'm noticing is it doesn't look as bad as it did earlier. Yeah, this is a good sign to me. In other words, and I know it's hard at home, you're probably thinking, why is he saying this is a better sign? And it's because what I'm noticing now is there's a lot of wind flow like this away from the radar. I'm not seeing a whole lot towards the radar. Towards Klystron 9, I'm not seeing a whole lot like that. So basically what we're seeing is if there's rotation, it's really loosened up. It's not nearly as tight. And when I use verbiage like that, that basically would mean it's not as strong, okay? That's really a good way to look at it. So let me come back to here. Let me put some shear product on. Let me first look at that. Little bit still showing up there. See, when I'm looking for this green shading on the map, I'd be looking for more of it right in here, okay? And that would indicate that a stronger wind is coming towards the radar. I'm not seeing a lot, but I'm still seeing a little bit. Seeing a little bit of this light lime green color kind of showing up right in here. Same thing, okay? So not seeing a whole lot, but seeing a little bit. Let me give you a good idea. Here, I'll bounce out, and we'll give you an idea of what is happening and why this is happening. So there's a big low pressure area out here to the northwest. If you've been watching us the past couple of days, we've been talking about how this was combining with moisture that came all the way from the Pacific. So you had a hurricane in the Pacific, a tropical storm in the Pacific, all that moisture came across Mexico, joined up with this big low pressure area. That low is passing us to the north right now. It's to the northwest of Tampa Bay. You see how these storms right here are drifting in off the Gulf? Those are the ones that are rotating. Okay, so if you want to know why are we getting rotation, why did we predict that we might have some severe weather tonight, it's because as the low passes, remember you get counterclockwise rotation, and on the eastern side, that rotation causes these spin-up tornadoes. They don't always necessarily reach the ground. In other words, sometimes it's just rotation in the clouds, but sometimes they do reach the ground. And actually, I'm just all of a sudden seeing a little bit of a spike up again in the shear. So it'll be interesting to see. Here, let me go back and look at the past hour. Okay, that doesn't look too bad, but if you look at the past history, here, let's actually go back out, and you can see the history of this storm. Okay, this gives you a good idea right here. Some of the new technology products that we have with Klystron 9 are just fantastic, okay? So essentially what you look at here is the path of where the rotation was indicated. So starting all the way down here as it passed by right around Gulf to Bay, and then right over Safety Harbor, and then it tightened up a lot. You see that dark red area, and you see how large it was right there? That's when the tornado warning was issued, right near Oldsmar. Well, then notice right after that, it actually kind of loosened up a little bit, and I know that by looking at the shadings of red. They kind of went away. Now, that being said, though, we can also go in here. All right, see, that doesn't look as bad anymore either. I'm not noticing any real bright green shadings in here. So this could be good news. It could be letting up. That's what it looks like to me. It doesn't look nearly as bad. But keep in mind, too, a lot of times what we have to do is we have to let this kind of play out. In other words, it's not really smart science to back off of a tornado warning really quickly. Instead, it's much wiser to kind of give it a couple scans. Let Klystron 9, let the radar rotate around, give it 2 or 3 scans, let it analyze, and then if it really does look like it's unraveling, then drop the tornado warning. And so that's why a lot of times you'll see us almost kind of stalling or delaying here on TV and going, well, gosh, if it looks better, then why is the tornado warning being held up? That's what we're doing. We're kind of waiting to see the new data coming in, okay? So for example, let's go to Klystron 9. Let's look at, yeah, it's not looking nearly as good now. This is definitely unraveling, and I mean that in a good way. Okay, so if you're at home watching and you're in the Odessa Keystone area and you're right here just on the Pasco County side, so right here is the border of Hillsborough County and Pasco County, okay? And there's Pinellas County right there. So if you're watching me in Pasco County, unless you see or hear of a tornado on the ground, I pretty much, with higher confidence now, see this unraveling. I do not see nearly as much rotation in this as what I did about 20 minutes ago. It looked like it was tightening up and there was a rotation reaching closer to the ground, but now I'm not seeing that. It actually looks the opposite. It looks like it's unraveling, and I'm seeing, see how it's kind of splotchy out here? So what's happening right now is the rotation would be in here, but I'm seeing multiple areas of heavier rain, which really usually is an indication of, no, the storm is not as tight, it's not as organized, and so it's not as impressive right now as what it was earlier. But technically, still a tornado warning in effect for now, right around the Odessa area of Pasco County. To put into perspective, this is the Suncoast Parkway right here. Okay, so if it can hold together, it's going to head towards the Suncoast Parkway. But again, I'm seeing all indications that this is kind of diminishing. What do you see?
Let it expire, but we're within 10 minutes of the end, so they can't cancel it.
Okay, so we're getting word that they are going to let this expire. So what that means is a lot of times, it kind of going back to what I was just talking about, when a storm cell gets to the tail end of a warning, which the official end of this storm is 12:45, a lot of times they'll just let it ride out, just to get to the end of the warning, just to see how this plays out. But I'm not seeing nearly as tight a rotation. I'll continue to go through some of these features just to make sure. Okay, but here's a perfect example. All right, if you're wondering, okay, why all the red on the map? What we do is we're looking at velocity measurings here. So the red would indicate stronger winds right in here moving away from the radar. But we're also looking for a green shading on the map. That would indicate winds going towards the radar. Well, you notice what's missing? The green. Okay, it's gone. Okay, so that was showing up earlier, and now it's gone. And so with that being said, I don't see any really firm, tight rotation in here anymore. You can still get some stronger winds. You can get some gustier winds, and actually it looks like right in this area, just north of Odessa, there is a little pocket of some stronger winds, but it doesn't look ridiculous. It doesn't look really, really bad. Let me see. Yeah, okay, 49. So you might be right below the threshold of what a severe wind would be declared. So you could be looking at 40 to 50 mile per hour winds in that area, possibly translating down to the ground. But even that is probably unlikely because usually as storms weaken, they're not going to put their strongest winds down to the ground. You're going to usually get the opposite. So going through these features here, I'm not seeing nearly as much wind shear. This is a good sign. Yeah, this is really, really backing off. That's a very good sign. So here's what it looks like. The path of what this storm took. There it is right there. That's a good idea right there of where it went. And the rotation looks strongest when it was right near Oldsmar. And then it just kind of looks like it unraveled as it went northeastward. So what I'm noticing is, yeah, it's not nearly as strong now. So let me go back to this broader view, and then we'll let you go. And we'll kind of keep an eye on these individual cells. Low pressure area is headed northeastward, going up through the Panhandle. But on the southeast side, you see these cells right here? Those are the ones that are rotating. And actually, what might be a good idea is let's go to Klystron 9. And before I do let you go, let me give you an overview from a bigger perspective. Because again, by the way, if you're just tuning in and you're wondering, well, why would I be ignoring a tornado warning? I'm not. I've been covering it for the past half an hour. It's just this is not a tornado threat anymore. This is unraveled. Okay, it's not. So this tornado warning is going to expire in the next few minutes, and that is definitely not reaching the ground anymore, or if it even ever did, but it's not showing any signs of strong rotation near the ground. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away from that because I do not see a tornado threat in that any longer. This is just shower and thunderstorm activity. These are the cells that we need to watch very carefully. Okay, that's where our attention now is going to head towards. Every single one of these out here in the Gulf is showing signs of rotation. Every single one. Kyle's behind the scenes. He's been helping me here tonight. We both have been looking at this for the past 2 hours. And I kid you not, we have been saying now since like 9 or 10 o'clock earlier this evening that when these came closer to land, almost any single one of these could trigger a tornado warning. So my point here is, it's 12:40 at night. Even though this one did trigger a tornado warning, it doesn't look like a tornado threat any longer over land, but every single one of these out here over the Gulf could trigger a tornado warning by about 1:30 a.m. to 2 a.m., okay? And if we can get them farther east, the atmosphere is a lot more stable, and I don't think they will be as big of a threat. But anywhere near the coast, Pinellas County, western Pasco, western Hernando, western Citrus County, you're going to have to keep a very close eye on these storms tonight. So again, just kind of keep your phone handy, keep it right by the bedside. You get another tornado warning that comes in, we are obviously going to jump on. We said and we promised we would be here all night. We're going to stand by that. We're not going anywhere. We are watching every single one of these. But again, the tornado warning is expiring on this storm currently in this area of Pasco County and right near the area of southern Pasco County, just north of Odessa. That is no longer a tornado threat, okay? That was a tornado threat when it was farther south, but it has become unraveled. So this tornado warning is going to be expiring, and that's not going to be as big of a deal. The storms that are out in the Gulf are definitely going to be the bigger deal. That's what we're going to focus our attention on. We'll let you go for now. We'll go to break, and we'll continue to update you throughout the night.